program really, okay, got it. This program really is like courting a new partner. And generally, if you want to court a new partner that you haven't met before, what do? You look at the photos first, right?
Right.
If the pictures are appealing to you, then you decide to go deeper, right? And
Right.
then get to know the person a little bit more and get to find out their inclinations, the packages, the ethics, the who they are and what they like and they dislike and all of that. All right. So this is the kind of thing we will do. We will tell the story of who we are, who our businesses are, right? So let me can I share? Am I part of those? Can I share my yeah, I can share my screen. Is that okay? Yes. Yes, I can share my screen. All right. Generally, Miss Tina, I'd love to see your face. It's so nice to see who I'm talking to, isn't it?
Oh,
Wouldn't you
sure.
like?
Sure. I was just cutting up something to have with my.
Okay. All right. Oh, thank you so much. Oh, very
Can you
good.
see me now?
I can see you very well, Tina. Now we can talk face to face and
Yes.
you can, or I can see your expressions and you can see my expressions. Great. So we're going to delve into our storytelling for businesses, right? You
Right.
want to identify your brand, but let me share a quick video with you. The farmer and his sons. A rich old farmer who felt that he had not many days to live called his sons to his bedside. My sons, he said, heed what I have to say to you. Do not on any account part with the estate that has belonged to our family for so many generations. Somewhere on it is a hidden rich treasure. I do not know the exact spot, but it is there, and you will surely find it. Spare no energy and leave no spot unturned in your search. The father died, and no sooner was he in his grave than his sons set to work, digging with all their might, turning up every foot of the ground with their spades, and going over the whole farm 2 or 3 times. No hidden gold did they find, but they found one thing. At harvest time, when they had settled their accounts and had pocketed a rich profit far greater than that of any of their neighbors, they understood that the treasure their father had told them about was the wealth of a bountiful crop, and that in their industry they had found the treasure. That's the story. It's the story about the farmer and his sons by Aesop. Now, let me ask you, and I see
I
some.
was going to say it sounds biblical.
Oh, well, okay. It's good to know that. I sound biblical. So, but what do you take from the story? What is the takeaway from the story?
um, Honestly, I'm taking away from it that you reap what you sow, and that you plant um, seeds, and from those seeds will come a bountiful crop.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And indeed, the time you spend working on your branding, the time you're going to spend working on your branding efforts is going to positively affect everything else in your business.
And because of that, it is important for you to tell the story. Like I told you, you're trying to woo a new partner. And the only way you can woo your new partner is to tell the story about who you are, what you do. All right. So we're going to, first, I'd like to know you a little better so that when we talk, my discussions or our discussions will be relevant to one another. So Tina, what, in 2 sentences or maybe 3, tell me your name, what you do, and what you expect from this class.
Okay, my name is Tina Webb, and I have been in sales my entire career. I'd like to launch a skincare line. I'm leaning towards women going through the ages of 45 to 55, going through menopause, or men between the ages of 40 and 50 who are also going through a change as well.
Excellent. Very good. Good business. I see we have Deja Williams. Deja, is it possible to see your face a little bit too? And but in 2 sentences or 3, tell us your name, full name, what you do, and what your expectations are.
Hi, my name is Deja Williams.
Yeah.
I'm honestly just here to learn. I am in the process of taking the entrepreneur class. So I just want to learn. I make crystals out of wire wrap crystals, and I also do Reiki. So my end goal, my long-term goal is to open an online apothecary.
Oh, online apothecary.
Yes.
Okay. You make crystals out of wire what? I'm sorry.
I make jewelry out of crystals. I wire wrap crystals with like copper wire, and I'll make bracelets, charm bracelets, anklets, necklaces, and all of the crystals have a meaning. So I'll customize them and ask my customer exactly what it is that they want as far as the meaning, and I customize whatever jewelry they like.
Wow, wonderful. Great. So we have a lot to go through today. We are going to try also to customize what we learned today to fit our different businesses. Okay. You were not here when I said we are wooing customers, we are wooing partners. And so we really have to learn to tell the story of our partnership. So I know that we've lost a few minutes, but here is what we're going to cover today in our class. We're going to cover your business objectives, the why of your business. I know that you are going to address this subject in your business plan, but how you are going to address it matters. How you're going to tell your story matters, because you know what? You want to tell the best story of who you are, right? And what your business represents. And we want to let you know that story is very efficacious. There is a strong efficacy in storytelling. Everybody wants to listen to a story. Everybody loves stories. So if you have a good story to tell, you're going to be intentional about telling your story so that your customers will listen to you. We will check into the buckets of stories where you can jumpstart your stories. There are different kinds of stories, several kinds of stories. We will go into a few of them, not all. We will also create the business strategic story. And perhaps if we do have time, which I don't know, we would like to share some of our stories, right? And we would want to practice and practice and practice. One of the things I need to let you know, and I cannot overemphasize it, is that everybody has a story. You have a story. You yourself, Tina and Deja, you are stories. You are stories because you don't know how you are impacting people that you meet day by day, and people are also impacting you day by day, right? So you are a story. You are impacting people. They are telling stories, and you are, and there are stories about your business. We will try to give you the ability. It's our business to give you the ability to tell a good story about your business. We will highlight how smart storytelling strategy can contribute to raising the value of whatever you're dealing with. If you can tell right stories, smart stories, correct stories, it will raise the value of your business. And one of the other things we encourage you to do is to communicate your values. You are in your business because you have certain values, right? Am I right? And by the way, maybe I didn't tell you all, I believe in this interactive discussion. So I'd like to hear from you just as you hear from me. I will give you all my energy. I need some back, right? So if I ask questions, let's communicate so that I know that you're on the same page with me. We want you to make your businesses feel and think the way numbers, data don't even think. Your business will think and feel and do the magic. Let your stories do the big lifting of your business. Okay. And when you do that, you will genuinely connect with your customers and help them believe in your business. Because if your story is genuine, if the reason for you going into your business is genuine and heartfelt, I like to use that word, I highlighted it, heartfelt, which means that if you can tell your story in such a way that it touches my heart, I would love to listen to you. I would love to know what you're about, and I would like to deal with your business.
Okay.
All right. That's what we do. That's what human beings do. All right. So these are the things we are going to discuss. So far, is there any question?
No.
No question. Now, let me ask you, what is a story? What is a story? What is a story?
It's a communication about things that happen to someone or who someone is, their background, what they like, they dislike.
Absolutely. Very good. Yeah. Yes. It's a story about, it's a communication about what happened to somebody, or sometimes it also, like we say, it does answer the question why. Because you know what, when you're telling me a story, there's a reason you are telling a story. So it should answer a certain question. It should answer the question, why? Why are you telling me this story? Why did that happen? What really happened, and why did it happen? Now, stories generally are very concrete and they are very specific. For instance, you listen to the story of the farmer and his sons. That's a very concrete story. It's very specific. It has its own lesson. It tells you it's exactly how the world works, right? You told me it is what you reap, you sow, right?
Right.
Good. So whatever time you put into anything you're doing positively, it will yield positively for you. So when you spend time and intentionally spend time to discover the stories that have led you to this point, of your business, and I know you have the stories, it will yield, and it will show you, it will demonstrate how the world works, that hard work pays off. All right?
Yes.
I know that sometimes when we tell stories, when you hear stories, you will create the pictures in your mind. You don't see what happened. Do you know? You know that, right? You don't
Right.
see the story as it's happening, but you create the pictures in your mind. That tells you that people hear in pictures. People hear in pictures. So you are going to help the people hearing you see the picture in their subconscious. Let them see the picture as you are telling the story. So, you know, a well-told story is a very compelling story that conveys emotions. I wanted to come to that. A well-told story conveys emotions. It has to be so gripping that my emotion is aroused and will inspire me to take action on the new strategy. That is what a well-told, because you can tell a story and it doesn't move me, and that's rattling along. But when you tell a story that excites me, that moves my emotions, I want to hear more, I want to hear more, and until you land. That is a story. Now, let's listen to this story too. Here is this one, The Ant and the Grasshopper. I love Aesop stories. They are short, but they have a lesson.
The Ants and the Grasshopper. One bright day in late autumn, a family of ants were bustling about the warm sunshine, drying out the grain they had stored up during the summer. When the starving grasshopper, his fiddle under his arm, came up and humbly begged for a bite to eat. "What?" cried the ants in surprise. "Haven't you stored anything away for winter? What in the world were you doing all last summer?" "Well, I didn't have the time to store up any food," whined the grasshopper. "I was so busy making music that before I knew it, the summer was gone." The ants shrugged their shoulders in disgust. "Well, making music, were you? Okay, very well. You made the music, now it's time to dance." And so they turned their backs on the grasshopper and went on with their work.
Okay, so what is the take from this story?
The same thing, you reap what you sow.
All right, yes. The grasshopper was busy playing with his fiddle. Now he forgot.
Right.
He forgot that time was flying and the summer would soon be over. And so he did not store up. What we're going to do is to encourage you to store up. Go back. You have a storehouse of stories. Everybody has a storehouse of stories in their lifetime. Something had to have triggered you to the point where you decided to do business, right? Something in life happened and caused you to decide, okay, it's time for me to go into business. Okay, so now you are now going to start talk about the story structure. First of all, discover the stories that are there. You have the stories. Some people perhaps decided to start their business out of frustration, working a 9-to-5 job, and where their work was not appreciated. So but because they knew they had certain skills for certain things, they decided to jump on that. Some people, because they really needed enough more money. Their money, they were not making enough money in a certain area or a certain field, then decided, okay, maybe this area that I have the skills for could bring me more money. So why don't I go into it? For some people, it may not just be the money or the financial or economic gain. For some people, it is, what can I do to help my own human being, my fellow human beings? That could be a driving force for some people to go into business. So you need to discover your own story. Spot the story. What is your story? Tell us your story. Stories generally must have a structure. There is always, in every story, there is always a beginning. There is always a middle. There is always an end. In other words, there will be a time marker. For instance, it could be, well, after being frustrated with the kinds of services that I'm just giving a hypothetical statement here, being frustrated with the kinds of services that were being rendered to the homeless, I felt compelled to do something to help them live better lives. So I decided to go into XYZ trade, or yes, whatever trade it is. Or that I had a boss who really did not appreciate all my efforts. I'm just, again, giving that, did not appreciate my efforts, but I gave her everything, or him everything that he needed. And because of the work I was doing, my boss was winning awards. So I thought to myself, why don't you do this for yourself and win those awards? So I'm just saying that something it may not be an unpleasant event. It could also be a pleasant event that led you to say, why don't I try this? Or you tried something and you were succeeding in it. At the side, you were succeeding. It was bringing in something. And you said, now I have reached this point. I think I can now go solo. So think about those. Those could be your time markers. Those could be your story, your beginning. So it could be like once upon a time, or the other day, or in the summer of 2021, could be, or just this week, I stumbled upon a friend of mine who decided that I should come and join him in his business. And that was so interesting and exciting. So I said, okay. I visited his office and it was so good and encouraging. So we decided to think of your own story. Think of how you started. There's a time marker. There is a place. There is a place. You could have started in the boardroom where something occurred to you, or it could have been at the beach. And I tell you something that happened to me once, or could I say me? Yes, happened once. When I was at the beach, I went to a beach, but I will tell you that story later. Okay, that's later. Every story that you listen to, when you listen to a story, you hear certain phrases. And then he did this, and she then did this. Well, because of this, that happened. But this happened somewhere along the line. Therefore, when you hear those little phrases here and there, you know that someone is telling a story, right? Somebody is telling a story. So you listen to get those little phrases. In every story, there is always a protagonist, the good guy, And there's always the antagonist, the bad guy, right? Now, how is that related to the storytelling in my business? Oh my goodness. So here we go. You see your business strategy or your business plan as the protagonist. You have it, it's a good plan, it's to do good for the community, but there is an antagonist. There are the naysayers who are there to say, no, it won't work. No, it's too expensive. No, it's located in a wrong neighborhood. No, naysayers. You understand? So you are the protagonist with your business, and there you will meet the negatives because you are in a world in competition. You are in competition with other businesses that are similar to yours. Is there anybody who owns a business that no one else ever owns? No. There are always people in your business, but your business has to be distinct. Something has to make your business different in spite of the naysayers, right? So you are going to be the protagonist and you are going to have the naysayers. There are areas in your business plan where all these subjects come up. All right, we will get to them. So stories, every story has people doing things. So in your story, show yourself as doing something. Show yourself as doing things. Maybe in your research for your sales or in your marketing, you will show yourself as doing things. Doing some strategy, marketing strategy, some sales strategy, all kinds of things, or the things you're doing to prepare your business to take off. Show yourself doing something to progress your business. A story, when you're telling your story, is a promise to share something the audience does not know. For instance, you're going to share your story, Tina. You're going to share your story, Deja. I have not heard your story. It's something I don't know. It's something the members of the audience, wherever else they are, they don't know. But you're going to tell us. And we want to be in anticipation. We want to listen to this story. We want to be caught up emotionally in this story. All right?
Yes.
Good. So in telling you, so far, are we okay?
Yes.
We understand everything so far? Great. Good. Now, there are hierarchies of stories. Hierarchies of stories. Now, here is one. A story describes what happened. Now, let me give you a quick example. Yesterday, I went to the beach. All right? That's it. Something happened. Oh, okay. Yesterday, I went to the beach and I picked up some shells. Okay? That's a story about something that happened. Does it have any emotional attachment to it? No, just a plain, simple story that you may forget the next minute. All right? Now there's another level of story, which we could call a good story. It will help you see what happened. Now, I'm going to use the same story. So yesterday, I went to the beach on a walk. And as I was walking the beach, I stepped on something that was so smooth on my feet. And I decided to pick it up. Could you mentally see what happened? Yeah. Yes, you can mentally see what happened. I stepped on something that was slippery under my feet and I bent down and picked it up. That's a good story, but it hasn't done anything. There's nothing else. So the next level is a great story. A great story helps you feel. Remember now, it's not just seeing, it will combine feeling onto what happened. So I'll use the same story. So yesterday, I went to the beach. It was cold. It was windy. And when I stepped on something that felt so slippery and cold, I was prompted to pick it up. And when I picked it up, I saw that it was a lovely shell, a fat and lovely shell. Did you feel that? Do you feel the difference? There is a difference. You could feel, you could virtually also see it. Am I correct or not?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
That is a great story. Now we come to your business story. A great business story must have a business point. Okay. I'm going to use the same story. It must have a business point. Okay, so the same story goes. So when I went to the beach yesterday on a walk, it was cold and chilly and the wind was blowing so hard. And I stepped on this cold, slippery thing and it made me feel so cold and I decided to pick it up. And when I picked it up, I saw it was a beautiful shellfish, shell from one of the shells in the fish, whatever, fish shells. And that was so exciting for me. And just as I picked that one up, I saw another one over there and many others. I was so excited. I picked them up and took them home. I took them home with me and washed them, cleaned them up. And before I knew it, they were so pretty. I thought to myself, what do I do with these? And that thought came to my mind that I could polish them up and make them into containers. Maybe it could be used in the office, or it could be used at home as a soap dish. And so I decided then that I would go to the beach every evening to pick up these shells and create something out of them. Now, here is what I created out of the shells. And this is a true story. This is a true story. So in order to, I made them in different sizes, 3-in-1 size. In order to sell these, I had to also create a story behind them. Out of an existing, what do we call these? There's a name for this, but let me read what it says. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells she sells are seashells, I'm sure. And if she sells seashells on the seashore, then I am so sure she sells seashore shells, right?
Yeah.
And this sold my business. It sold. And I'm giving you all these because I need you to jump out of the box, come out of the box and do it differently, right? Yes. So that is a story. That is a business story I have told you. That is a genesis of that business. That's a side business. So what is your strategic story? Or I will call it your clarity story. Your clarity story here should address who you are, not as a human being, as a company. Who are you as a company? Where have you been? Where did you start? Where have you been? Where is the beginning? Where did it start? What are the rudimentaries that led to where you are now? Where you are going? Where are you going? Where are you now and where are you going? Where are you now and where are you going in future? It should tell how you create value. In other words, you should have value. Your value is what will create a good relationship with other people. If you have good values in what you are doing, for instance, you have the values of integrity, you have the values of compassion. In other words, can I trust you when you say you're going to deliver? Are you compassionate in your business? Are you thinking of the well-being of others while you're doing your business? Is your business accountable? In other words, if you tell me that it costs $6 to make whatever you are making to sell, and because you're compassionate and you want to make some gain, are you going to sell it for $12? Are you going to be careful not to overdo your gain and make sure that others also have the benefit of the use of what you are doing to help them out and not overcharge? Are you accountable? Are you respectful to your clients? Those are little values that people look to see if we have or you have when you are doing your business. Are you accountable? Are you operating in excellence? That is critical. Are you operating in excellence? In other words, are you constantly trying to prove? It may not be excellent when you start. No business is excellent when it starts. It starts from the rudimentary with some gaps here and there and things that need to be changed and modified here and there. But are you working towards excellence? How are you working towards improvement of your business? Those are values that you should reflect in your business plan. Those are values that you should include in your business plan. Because if you're coming to request for money, you're not beg. If you're coming to request for money from a bank, they want to see who you are. They want, when you're telling your story, they will tell you, they will know who you are. They will know how honest you are and how sincere you are. And there's nothing like telling the truth about every single thing and being an open book. These are the things that will help you create a good relationship with your customers, with anybody, with the bankers and all of the sponsors, anybody. Okay. Your business should explain why you exist and what makes you different from others. Something must make you unique. Yes, there are many of them. Come on, there are many, what do they call them? Fast food places. Very many fast food places. But why do you think children like to go to McDonald's? Children want McDonald's every time. There's a reason. What makes you unique? What will bring people always to you? You have to think about that. All these are things that should go into your business plan. You know, once I was having an interview. I needed to have an interview. And I had all these beautiful resumes. Some resumes were so good, out of this world, really good, had everything I needed. But I decided, I said, I have to have a job interview. I have to speak with this person. Don't give me your resume and walk away and think I should employ you because of your resume. No, I need to speak with you because, you know, in speaking with you, I get to know you, because what is in the paper is different from what I will see. Do you have the personality, the people personality? Can you interact with people? Can you work with others? Can I count on you? It will reflect as you speak with me. Those things should be in your business plan. All right? So for now, I'll give you 3 buckets from where you can draw your stories. 3 buckets from where you can draw your stories. First, from you, number 1, from you. You need to be able to think back, because, you know, we have loads and loads and loads of stories. I have loads of stories. I have loads of stories, but you've got, and you have, Tina has, Deja has, you've got to dig back into them. Write them down, because sometimes you may need to bring them up. You may need to bring them up. That's the only way you can make your presentations exciting. You can't come and just tell me about these numbers. Marketing, if I say I need your financial plan, you give me the numbers, and the numbers XYZ here, budget XYZ there, expenditure XYZ there. No, tell a story. Tell a story with your financial plan. Let there be a story. For instance, because a lot of these, when you are doing your financial plans and sales plans, when we get to them, you will see that you need to have done some research work. So you could include, when you were doing your research work, you went to XYZ place and you realized that they were selling something for XYZ, and you thought that if you sold yours for that amount, it will not bring you the benefits you want. So you are going to sell it for XYZ amount, because the quality of my coffee, I use coffee now as an example, because the quality of the coffee, the brand of my coffee is very different. So in order to break even, I'll have to sell it at XYZ amount. And therefore, I will be able to generate XYZ from my daily sales. You know, you're going to tell a story with it. It makes it more exciting than listening to data and numbers. And I can tell you, don't think that I'm talking from experience, because I've had that experience before. I have gone on, I call it on an interview, when I was trying to get something to do with one of the businesses. I wanted to present a proposal to do a business with some company. And of course, stupidly, then I was a starter. I had no one to teach me that I should tell a story. So I had hired this company. They gave me some good graphs, beautiful, colorful graphs. I tell you, they were so colorful. I loved them. Data here and there. So I went to do my presentation with my laptop. Everything was ready. I had my screen and I projected everything. Shamefully, I like to say this, shamefully, in the middle of my presentation, because there were nothing but numbers, right? Nothing but numbers. Shamefully, I saw people nodding their heads and, you know, sleeping off on me. And at the end of my presentation, which really didn't last but 30 minutes, and I asked, any questions? Nobody had a question, because nobody really understood what I was doing. And some people were sleeping halfway through. So nobody had a question. And at the end, they all just told me, okay, you'll hear from us later. And you know, when you hear that, you'll hear from us later. You know what that means?
Yeah. You
You will not hear from us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that was the end. So I'm giving you the privilege to know that when you make your presentation, give it life. Give your presentation some life with a little story here and there. Don't make it too lengthy. Not lengthy stories, short, brief things that keep people awake and alert on the edge of their seats to want to hear more. You got them. You got them. All right. So the 3 buckets, your story is 1 bucket. You can borrow other people's stories. You can borrow other people's stories. All we do is we want, when you do borrow people's stories, acknowledge the source. Because a friend of yours could have had a great experience that you think you can share and it's relevant to what you are doing. You can borrow and say, without necessarily quoting putting the name to the person, but you can always acknowledge, hey, this story is from a friend of mine. I can't tell the name, but it's from a friend of mine, and this was the experience. That's acknowledgement that it is not your story. You can use other people's stories. Now, you can use stories, you can use stories from other sources, such as fables. You see what I did? You can use fables, legends, stories from anything, anywhere. I like to tell the story, use the story about town mouse and country mouse. Oh, that's my favorite. I use, yes, town mouse and country mouse. I use it a lot because it has a lesson. It has a lesson, a moral lesson in life and what life really works. So these are the 3 buckets from where you can draw your stories from, but draw them in and use them wherever they are relevant in your business plan. Just don't throw in stories for the fun of throwing in stories, okay? So number 1 story that I'd like to introduce to you is called the foundation story. See, when you started work, I want to believe that we all have either worked somewhere in some place or the other for someone or the other. So when you go to work for someone, in order to have a sense of belonging, you should know the foundation story of that business. If you don't know the foundation story of that business, you really don't have a sense of belonging. It's always important. So I'm saying this to you that if at any point you want to bring in your employees, give them a sense of belonging. Give them the foundation story, how you started. In the same manner, you want to talk to your clients or your audience or the lenders, give them the foundation story. Let them enjoy listening to how you started. How did this begin? What was important to you as a founder? Why did you create this organization? What is your reason for existence? What is your purpose? What is your purpose? Is it just to bring in your money for you and your pocket, for you, yourself, and you? Or is it to help the bigger community? I must advise that whatever your business plan is, it should also address the needs of the greater community around you. It cannot be about you and you alone. Your business should include your bigger community, should bridge a gap that is missing in the bigger community. For instance, skincare line. It should be able to fill in a gap that is missing. Yes, there may be creams and lotions for skincare for those in their 50s or menopause and the men going through changes, but what else What makes yours outstanding? What makes yours unique, right? You're filling that gap. In the same manner, you are a jewelry maker. There are people who will use copper wire on crystals and make things too. But what makes yours different? What makes you stand out, Deja? Yes, you have to go back. It's a lot of homework you will do for yourself, right? Okay, good. Now, here is an example. And when I tell you about stories, I'd like to give you an example. This one I got from the internet, I'm acknowledging. It's about Trader Joe's. Does anybody here go to trade? Is it Traders Joe or Traders?
I go, yeah.
Yes, yeah,
yeah.
very good. Very good. They have a good story. And this is a foundation story that I found. They gave their own foundation story online. So I got it. And I'm going to share it with you here. Now they say, it all started in the 50s. Would you believe we started out as a small chain convenience store? It's true. Way back in 1958, we were called Pronto Markets. Now, in 1967, our founder, the original Trader Joe, changed our name, yes, to Trader Joe's. And the way we do business. We made the stores bigger, if you can imagine, bigger. We decked the walls with cedar planks and cloned our crew, or rather undonned our crew in cool Hawaiian shirts. Most importantly, we started packaging innovative, listen to that, packaging innovative, hard to find, great tasting foods under the Trader Joe's name. See what makes them stand out? They're putting it there for you. That's what makes them unique. That cut our costs, another factor there, and saved you money. And it still does. And that's important to you because value, what is their value? Saving you money and also benefiting us, cutting down our cost. That is a good value. Now they say because value is a concept we take very seriously. So I say to you, take your own value seriously. Put down what you value. And it says, and by value, we mean great everyday prices on all of our great products. Great everyday prices, that's good value. And they say, no sales, no gimmicks, no clubs to join, no special cards to swipe. How do we do it? That's the uniqueness. That's the foundation story. So when you go to Trader Joe's, you got the foundation story. This is how they started. You got it. All right. So that is an example of a foundation story. The next story, type of story I need to share with you is called the influence story. When you are trying to help a group of people see things from a different perspective. Okay, I'm trying to sell my coffee to, this is not a true story, but I'm just going to tell you a story to help you understand where I'm coming from. It's not a true story. So 3 people walk into the store, my coffee shop, and I sell my coffee at $1 per cup because I have very good flavored coffee. It's all imported coffee and it's beautiful. The flavor is, and the aroma is so good. You can smell it from outside. So three people walked in there and they bought my coffee, 3 cups of coffee. And as they were walking out, 3 more people walked in and they said, coffee for $1 a cup? That's too expensive. I can't afford it. Like, come on, let's go. Come on, let's go. It's too expensive. And I take that opportunity to invite them. How much do you think this is worth? Let me explain. I take the time to explain to them. This coffee is this kind of flavor. I have good flavored coffee, all imported coffee. It's not the kind of coffee you buy from outside that is on the coffee pot for 1 hour. No, we brew our coffee immediate with freshness. And that's why it's unique, it's different, and okay. There, they now see my coffee shop and my coffee from a different perspective. I have given them something that is different. And so they now decide, okay, we'll buy your coffee for $1 each. So I've changed their perspective. I've told them they had an argument, but the main thing I have done is to give them a better story. So there will always be arguments about what you are doing or the nays that come your way, like these coffee 3 later pay people who came for the coffee. There will always be those who will say, nah. But guess what? If you take your time to explain your uniqueness, tell them a better story that they've not heard from you, they will stop and they will change their perspective and they will be all yours. Okay? Always make sure you tell a story that is related to what you're doing. Now, there's also another type of story called the inspiring story. The inspiring story is the story that can inspire someone to take an action. Let me tell you, I have very many failure stories, Yes, because I didn't just start succeeding. No, I started with failures, baby. So I was working somewhere. I got a job when I arrived this country. I had never done that job in my life. But of course, because I needed a job, I went there and I sold myself and got the job. I sold myself properly. That's when I knew I could sell things. I could be a good sales agent. So I sold myself properly, got the job. So when it got to implementation, doing my job, I really fell short. I did fall short until my director invited me for my 90-day appraisal. And she really told me that I needed some improvement. That's the way it is. I needed improvement at that point. And she told me that within the next month, if there were no signs of improvement, within the next 3 months, no signs of improvement, they will let me go. And that shook me. That really shook me. I had children to feed, house rent. My husband was not doing too well. So I was shaken, really shaken. And so what could I do to help myself? Even though I didn't know this job as such, I bought books. I registered for school, online school. I took the classes. I did everything I could. Got all the certificates, and I started applying the knowledge I gained from these studies onto the job. And gradually, before the 3 months, I know she called me into her office by the 2nd month, and I was really a little bit fidgety, a little bit afraid of what she was going to say, but she was rather commending the improvement she had seen, and she was very pleased. And I worked with her until she retired and I took over her position. So I'm saying this to say, that story that she gave me, that I needed a needs improvement, was a story that inspired me to action. That inspired me to take action, to be better for myself. And when you tell a good story that inspires somebody, it's a story that will cause people to listen, to hear, to smell, to taste and see. That is a story that inspires people to action. When they receive all of that, they are bound to act. And I'm saying this to say that I read somewhere that stories appeal to your subconscious because they appeal to your emotions. It's not a surface thing like the one I told you earlier. I went to the beach and I picked up some shells. So what? So what? You picked it up. What does it matter to me? But it doesn't move anyone to action. Your story should move me to action. All right? There is the other type of story. I'm just letting you know the different types that are available to you. A few of them. There is the triggering story. A triggering story would be a story that will trigger others to talk about what you did. It's a story that should make others, trigger others to say what you did. There's a friend of mine who worked somewhere in one of the facilities. It's a small facility, and she told me the frustrations of going to work, parking her car, and not being able to leave when she wanted to leave. And on 3 occasions, she has missed her doctor's appointment. Why? Because there was no organization on people parking. People block people. There was no passageway. Once you are blocked, you are blocked. And then they would have to overhead page cars and overhead page people. And 3 different occasions, because of this tendency, she missed her doctor's appointment. And at that point, she decided, no, it's not going to happen again. She decided to take the law into her own hands and she spoke to the administrator of the facility and told the administrator she was going to take over the parking. That was not part of her portfolio, but she decided to take it over. She made rules, printed out rules, gave to everybody, and got in touch with a towing company that will tow vehicles that are illegally parked or that are parked blocking everybody. On the day she started this, first of all, there were naysayers. Oh, it won't work. It won't work. Are you the first person to start working? It will not work. And she was determined. But guess what? The day she implemented it, it was a shocker. It was a shocker. People were able to move in and out of the parking lot as they wanted. There was space for everybody. So this triggered a discussion. Everybody was intrigued by what she did. A success story. Such a success story triggers a discussion about your success and what you did to success. So what I'm saying here is give people an experience of something that is new, they've never experienced. Nothing beats first-hand experience. Nothing beats it. So if you want to influence a decision maker, create a situation where they experience something different. So back to your stories. Create a situation in your story. Create a story in your business that is something no one has experienced, something remarkable, something that will prompt people to tell themselves a story about what happened. And this was a story about what happened. It triggered off such a story. According to my friend, it still is on. That parking rule is working very well. So we say kudos to her, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and as she was doing this, there was the anti-story. I talked about anti-story. The naysayers, there were people who were saying, but it is left to you to tell a better story. How did she tell a better story? She told a better story by doing it differently and showing them what could be done to make it work. And that's what really happened. And it is true, and it's a story that should be true, relatable, and credible. All right. I hope I'm not moving too fast for you. Do you have any questions so far? Deja, you're looking at me. Any questions? Am I understandable?
Yes, I'm following. I'm writing notes and
Oh,
everything.
okay. You're writing notes for yourself because
Yeah.
we're going to try, hopefully we'll have a little time, even if it's 5 minutes, to write a quick thing, a quick, short story about your business, okay? We will try to make sure we give a little time for it. So,
Will we be getting a copy of the presentation? Of course, right? Of course.
who said so? What I may give maybe little highlights.
Okay.
I may give little highlights, but and definitions, perhaps I will do that. I will do that. But
Okay.
it's very good that you're writing or taking your own notes, because this will help you. So now, what is this relationship with all this storytelling on my business plan? Come on. I know you will have your business overview, right? I'm sure that if you haven't been into it yet, you will go into it. Business overview. Here in your business overview is where you will focus on the products and services as well as the features. Here is where you will describe what your business is about. What is my business about? What is my goal? What is it you're selling? What is the objective of selling that? Who are your target customers? That is your base customers? The industry your company will serve. And of course, you have to know your major competitors. You don't have to know all, just have a handful. Because it's good when you're talking about your business to mention, let's your audience know, you know other people in the business. You've done your research. I know other people in my industry, and this is what they're doing. This is what they're doing. But here is what I am doing that makes me unique. Are there people who use seashells for things? For decoration and all kinds of things? Yes. But no one packages it the way I do. All right? Can I be proud of it? Can I brag a little bit? Bragging rights? No, but you've got to be distinct. We got to know something that makes you distinct. Yes, I know this one is doing this. This one, this company does the beads and jewelry. I know this company does skincare. But here is where mine comes in, serving the community in a unique way. You got it. All right, stand out. Okay. Where else am I going? That's for your business overview, right? Now, I want to touch a little bit on your market analysis and your strategy. In the market analysis, the market analysis is very research-based. It's from here that you know who is in the kind of business you're doing, right? It's from the market analysis, just find out who is in the same business like me, and how are they selling it? And what is their strategy? It's good to do a little research, because once you have research, you have knowledge. With that knowledge, you can build your own business. That knowledge of how others are doing it and your reason for being different, you can wow your customers. It generally includes your target groups, because they will have a target group of their own, but maybe your target group will be different. Your target group is the menopausal, yes. Your target group could be the millennial, Deja.
Yes.
Yes, it could be. And you know, it will align with their own new lifestyle and all of that. you will create your reason for infiltrating their markets. Create a good reason for infiltrating your market. And sometimes here you can have a little data on what you're doing, on how much is being charged for something like what you're doing, and how much maybe this is not where you're going to talk maybe about finances. When you get to financials, that's where you're going to talk about how much it will cost to get whatever you're doing, okay, to get you some profit. You can talk about the growth rate, because definitely you can get all this information, growth rate, market size, you can get them, but you don't have to go crazy. Get a little knowledge about the market analysis, a little knowledge about it, and put it into your work and your profitability. Very important, because any business that is not going to be profitable will not be supported by lenders. If your business is not going to be profitable, it will not be supported by any lender. So you're going to make it profitable. Okay. You will just have some knowledge about the market trends in your field, the distribution channels. Have a little knowledge. Do a little research work on your field, in your area. That research you do is like the story of the farmer and his children. That little research work, doing that research background work, it will yield, because you now incorporate a little part of it into your story. It is important. Don't give it a dry cut thing. Give flesh. Give flesh to your business plan. The flesh you can give is the story. All right? The products and services. Sometimes you can include the product and services in your business overview. All right. Sometimes it could be incorporated in your business overview. The most important thing for us to know is that in this section, I'm going to sales. No, sorry. I went to sales immediately. In this product and services, this is about, again, what you sell. It's a repetition. That's why I say it can go into your business overview. Or you may choose to do it differently and let this stand apart on its own. And it's about what you sell, and you have to make sure that what you pen down is true about what you sell, and that the information entered should be persuasive and beneficial to, I always insist, the larger community, not just about you. And I just chose these examples. For instance, you may be in hairdressing. How is hairdressing? How is in your particular case, hairdressing? How is it going to help the larger community? You know, these days, you have to go to the hair salon and wait for hours on end, virtually spend a whole day to get your hair done, a whole Saturday to get your hair done. And in my business, you don't have to wait a whole, you can't wait more than 30 minutes when you come in. In 30 minutes, within an hour and a half, 2 hours, you're out.
I'm
So,
already sold.
I'm sorry?
I'm already sold.
That's good. I got a customer there. I got one customer. Good, Deja. I'll write you down. Yeah. So these are the kinds of things that will sell your business. Whether you're in website design or photography, they're little things. It takes a little thing to make you unique and different. Okay. The products and services section of your business plan is more than just a list of what your business is going to provide. It's more than that. It's just more than that. Especially if you intend to use your business plan to get funding. To get funding. If you intend to do that, you got to make it more exciting and different. You know, you're going to showcase the quality. You're going to showcase your value. You're going to showcase the benefits that your business offers to the community. Showcase it. Let the people see. Your products and services section of your business plan outlines your product or services, why it's needed by your market, why, how it will compete with other businesses in the same or similar field. You have to show that. Okay, you have to show competition. It's all about the competition. Now we go into sales and marketing your product. Sales, because you will have to address, okay, I'm trying to get funding. How am I going to bring in the money? It's going to be through my sales and through my marketing strategy, right? So this should contain information about the expected or predicted sales. It doesn't have to be absolute, but it is a predicted sales. There was one of the I listened once to a business plan, and there was this lady who was in her financials, and she really took time to explain what she expected. She expected the number of sales per day, expected the number of sales per month, by month, the amount, it was all projected. The amount she was going to receive daily, the amount she was going to receive monthly, it was in the presentation, and yearly, it was projected. Now, she also projected how much she was going to spend daily, monthly, yearly, profit. She came up with the profit and total, and then she came out with the profit, daily profit. It was a very interesting submission. So you've got to look, people are, especially if they're funding you, they're going to be looking at numbers too. Not that they wouldn't, numbers don't mean anything, they do, but your presentation of the numbers have a story. Should come not be just with, it's going to cost $10,000 here, 5,000. No, there's a story. How did you come about those numbers? That's the story. Okay. So in this section of the plan, you are actually going to spell out how you will market your idea, along with the specifics of how you'll get businesses. How will you get the businesses? Sales and marketing are what will grow your business. The sales and the marketing, because funding companies are waiting to see how you will grow this business. Is this somewhere we can give our money to? Is she going to be able to bring in money in this business? Can we strike a deal? Can we give money? You all listen to Shark, right? Is that what they call it? That TV program, what do they call it? Is it Shark? Something.
Oh, Shark Tank.
Yeah,
Okay, Shark Tank. Yeah, Shark Tank. It's all about what it is, the income, right?
There's another one called Bet on Black. It's on Revolt, the channel called Revolt, and it's the exact same thing, but it's called Bet on Black.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
So it's what's in there for me? What's in it for me, right?
Right.
So that's the thing. People are looking to grow too. People who are lending you your money are also looking to grow, because if you grow, they grow. So you've got to be able to show that you can grow. Very important. Are you going to use social media? Which one is less expensive? Which one yields more benefit to your business? These are things you have to weigh. Which platform are you going to use to market? How am I going to sell? What am I expecting? The benefits from either Facebook or Instagram or where else? TikTok. There's every platform now, you know. There are all kinds of platforms, but you will decide which one will work better for you. All right. On the whole, we want you to make it a habit to learn to tell business story. If you got to start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. You're not just going to ever be telling people I'm into this business. Start with a story. Start with a story. Catch yourself every time telling a story. Now, effective communicators always remember to use anecdotes and illustrate what they are talking about. You cannot just talk without giving an illustration. There's got to be an illustration. That makes you an effective communicator. So when you're telling your story, you're going to be, don't make your anecdotes long. They're going to be short and crisp. So that I'll be at the edge of my seat and listening and wanting more. But you've ended. All right. It needs, for you to be a good storyteller, you need to be persistent. It's not easy initially, but trust me, by the time you make it a habit to find an anecdote for each thing you're saying, for any idea, you will hold your audience. You will perfect your art and you have a good customer base because stories are very effective in selling. But you need to be persistent. And sometimes you need to be repetitive, or rather it needs repetition. Repetition. For instance, I've told the story of she sells seashells on the seashore. The shell she sells are seashells, and I could bridge that in all that we are doing. I could use that same story somewhere else in all this that we're doing. And all I'm talking about. Sometimes you need that repetition. But again, it takes time to make it a habit, which means you've got to keep practicing and practicing and practicing stories and picking up stories as you go along. Now you've met me, you should have a story about me, right? You should have a story about this woman that you met. Her name is Aret Essien, all right? You should have a story. I can have a story about Athena. I can have a story about Deja, right? But if I'm using your stories, I'm going to acknowledge you. I'm going to acknowledge you. Okay? But again, you need to motivate yourself. Nobody can motivate you to have a story. You're going to motivate yourself because you want to move your business. You want your business to grow. You're going to motivate yourself. And whenever you catch yourself making a point or sharing an opinion, seek out a story. Look for a story. Look for a story to tell. Because I know you have loads and loads of stories. That's why you need to do a little homework. Sit down and recall stories and experiences with individuals that have touched your life or either motivated you more and more daily to go into what you're doing. And remember, those motivations should be related to your business. So find those stories. You have the stories. Look for them. Work at it. Consciously, intentionally work at getting the story. All right? Now, we do have some skills that you need. Do you wonder why sometimes you see these people on the television acting, and they're all telling stories. But when they're telling these stories, we are glued to the screen watching them. Sometimes they're weeping and we join them in weeping. They have mastered the art of influencing you and keeping your emotions right there with them I don't mean that you need to be actors and actresses, no. But you need to know the skills that have led them to that point. Okay, where they can grab an audience and hold you down there. You don't move. And your baby is crying somewhere. But you're still glued to the TV. Yes, it happens. So you want to be able to glue them there. But you don't have to be an actress to do that. All you need is a skill. Okay? To be good at telling stories, catch yourself sharing stories. Beginning now. Catch yourself telling stories. Notice how stories are told. Could be very short, but remember, it has a beginning, a middle, and end. It started somewhere. It rose to a crescendo somewhere, and then it fell down, and it stopped. It ended. Incorporate tacit feedback. Always,
I have a question.
go ahead, dear.
So, what do you do when you're telling a story? Because this happens to me a lot and I never know what to do. When you're telling a story and then it gets to a point where it feels like whoever you're telling the story to isn't listening to you. So you kind of get like embarrassed.
I know
And
that
stop.
you're not alone. Remember, I told you the story about when I went to give a presentation and I failed, and
Yes,
people were nodding off and sleeping off on me. I told you that story. It does happen.
yes, yes.
Yes. And all you know, what you do is if you notice that people are not giving into the story, stop the story. Stop it.
Okay.
Just stop it. It's okay. It's okay to stop the story in the middle because people are not buying into it. People are not carried along with it. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay. And that means that for another more time, you can practice more on it and also learn to keep it short and crispy.
Right. Okay.
That also means you need to know your audience. What kind of audience do you have? Some people are not easily carried away with certain stories. Okay. Yes. Some audiences are not easily carried away with certain stories. And that's what happened to me. And I failed. And when I failed, I acknowledged and I had to sharpen my skill. I had to go and learn how to redo what I did wrong. So if you're telling a story and you know, you should also always watch the reaction from your audience. If the reaction does not seem positive, stop the story. Pick up something else.
Right.
Immediately talk about something else. That new thing takes over their mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. So it's good to also have someone that you can have sometimes after an event. It's good to have a feedback. Feedback helps you sharpen your skills. How did you like the story? How did that story affect you? Ask people to give you feedback. Okay, and that will help you know whether you need to work more on that story next time.
Okay.
Or change and use some other story because I know you have stories.
Yes.
Bring out another
So
story.
many. Yes.
Yes, and use them. The more you use your stories, the better you get at them. And the more you observe your audience, the more you get to know them and you know what will tick them off and what will make them excited. All right? Good.
Okay.
So I said here, shorten boring bits and extend the exciting parts. The parts that are exciting, extend it a little bit, not too much, because after a little while of excitement, the people want to go back. Human beings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's who we are. So with every retelling, if you are using the same story, change something a little bit. change something a little bit in the, especially if you have the same audience. So they don't, it will seem to them, you are telling, it may seem like the same story, but something is different this time.
Right.
And one of the things you must do is to enjoy. Please do not tell a story as if it's a chore or somebody's forcing me to tell this story. No, enjoy. Enjoy telling your business plan. Enjoy the stories you have acquired in life. And you are telling them that this is what caused me to get into this. And here I am, ready to let you know what my values are, what I stand for, who I am, what I'm doing, and how I'm going to create a change in the community, and how I'm going to influence my community by what I am doing. And I'm excited about it. Right? So, and I want you to join me so we can get along. The other thing, please have a repertoire of useful business stories. I have a notebook. I have a notebook. Sometimes I just flip over the pages and recall and try to recollect. Sometimes I can't even read my handwriting. It's like it's like I wrote them shorthand. But you know what? I will try to recall what caused me to write that down. And does it fit what I'm going to talk about? I can use it. So have a repertoire of useful business stories taken from all the different sources I gave you. Remember, I gave you 3 different sources, right? 3 different sources for your stories. Yourself, your own stories, other people's stories, and of course, fables, legends, anything else. All of them, they're there for you to use. Acknowledge them, but shorten them and let them be relevant to what you are doing, to the subject. I hope that I was able to help you understand how you will handle certain things like your business overview, like your financial issues, the marketing and sales, how you can incorporate these stories and weave them in, make them short and crispy. I hope you were able to get something out of that. Were you?
Oh yeah, I mean, that's why I asked you, would we be getting a part of this deck, is because I took the course through a school out in California, and I'm just going to be honest, it was awful. It was absolutely awful. And I didn't learn anything about storytelling, and yours was incredible.
Yes, I agree with that.
Well, thank you. I will try to see what I can send. All right.
I understand. You don't have to send it if you're not supposed
No.
to.
I will send briefs. I will send you definitions. I will send you other things. I will send you useful information for your business plan.
Okay.
I will do that. Okay.
Great.
So
And I'll brag about you too. You're going to be part of my storytelling.
Okay. That's all right. That's good. So in telling your story, the mark of a good storyteller is that it has to change behavior, or it should inspire people to do something. Your story is what will do the heavy lifting for you. It will tell everything about you. Once you tell your stories in the different sections, brief, crisp, exciting, you will see it does the heavy lifting. It convinces your audience, your listener, your sponsors, and all those who are ready to support your goal. Good stories are visual. They usually would mentally see.
Kim, you have to go have a seat, baby. Okay.
Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I was talking to my daughter.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. It's all right. It's all right. So the good stories are visual. They show you actions that good managers can emulate without being told. Okay? Good stories evoke emotions. You have to evoke emotions. If I cannot pull you in to my sphere, I've done nothing. If all I was doing was to throw words at you and throw words and all that grammar, and it doesn't touch you to make you listen and understand, it's useless. It's useless. You're just going through 2 hours of talk. But every good story should evoke emotions and make us take action, inspire us to take action. Okay? Now there's what we call the ethics of storytelling. The ethics of storytelling. Tell stories as you believe they happened. Tell people when you have made up a story. You remember I made up a story and I told you, this is something I made up, right? Don't tell stories of others as if they are your own stories. Let people know it's a story taken from someone else. And do protect people's confidences. In other words, you're telling the stories, but don't mention names because it could be a little sometimes offensive. And you don't put people in a situation that compels them to tell a story they would not normally tell. Okay? Tell people what you're doing when they ask you. Tell people what you're doing when they ask you. It's very simple. Just be yourself, be plain, be truthful. Remember the values, the integrity, the accountability, the respect, and the excellence. They all come in here. Ethics. Now, I want you to take just a few minutes, if you can, or you can ad-lib if you can. If you don't want to write, you can tell me, very short, let's share quickly. It doesn't have to be thorough. It doesn't have to be thorough, but we'd like to hear if you really could put together a short story about your business. Kind of a short thing. You don't have to incorporate everything yet that we've learned because you still have to go back and think about things. But tell us the genesis, kind of what triggered it. What triggered it? All right, let's hear. Can someone start that? I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but if you think you want to start, go ahead.
I can start. I don't have a problem.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with this idea about skincare lines because I love organic or all natural products. But mainly years ago, I would vacation and go into this store that was selling aloe vera based products. I brought them home. I used them faithfully. I thought they felt fabulous, fabulous on my skin, and said, gee, you know what? I really would love selling this. But when they offered it to me, I wasn't going to make enough money. So I said, you know, I'm going to do it for myself and I'm going to sell it to everybody. Then one of my brothers came to visit me. He took a shower. I said, hey, use this before you go to bed. And he was just making a fuss about how great his skin felt, how wonderful he slept. And then my ex-husband would do the same thing. From there, I said, you know what? Someday I'm going to sell this product to the world. And so now I'm at the point where I just want everyone to know how great aloe vera makes your skin feel, how great all natural skincare products make your skin feel. And one of the things that makes mine stand out, everybody puts a little aloe in their product. I'm putting 70% aloe vera in my skincare products, in my lotions and in the different products that I make, because I want people to feel good. And that's my value, my theme, my everything, to make you feel good.
I'm in. Is that what they say in Shark Tank? Okay.
That's all I have so far. That's all I have so far.
Yeah, I know. And that's great. That's great. You've touched on how you started, right? You've touched on that, and you've touched on how you kind of did your research with other people and their experiences with it, and how you have decided, when you now decided that you will go in and your values are there. You put in your values and how you are going to influence and use this product to change other people's lives. All right. That's a very good start. Now, that's a good start. Then you can now build on that. Yes, Deja.
Hi.
Hi, Deja. Yes, do I say your name right?
Yes, you did. Thank
Okay.
you. No, a lot of people do not.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so this is new to me, but I'll give it a shot. I want to start off by saying I got into crystals myself because of anxiety and depression, and I stumbled across the different meanings of crystals and how they aid in helping people with anxiety and calming, and they're eye capturing. And so I bought some of my own because I was I was so intrigued and I fell in love with them. And so it helped me with my anxiety and my depression. So it made me want to tell people about them and let them know, like, you know, this can be helpful to you. I wanted to help other people with their anxiety and depression. And that's basically what I started to do, was talk about it on my Instagram, talk about it on my YouTube, and people were actually interested. And then we would get in depth and talk more about like the different crystals and how they help. And then I started making jewelry because people would tell me their issues and what they were going through at the time, and what they wanted help with, what they wanted to manifest, or, you know, have come help them stay focused, I guess, if you must. And so that's how I started making jewelry. I would listen to their story and jot things down and put crystals on it. I don't have one on, but these are some that I made, and put crystals on the charm. And yeah, make their crystals according to what their wants and their needs.
That's excellent. That's very unique. That's
Thank
very unique. And I believe that I tell you, that is so different. As an apothecary, right? That's what you called it, right?
Yes.
Apothecary. That's excellent. That's very good. I'm in too, for health reasons, right? So excellent, excellent. You all have great ideas, and all I can encourage you to do, I encourage you to keep working on your stories, refine them. And this is just a starting point, because I'm sure that you're going to go in for the competition, right? The competition with right. So, but just refine your stories and make them smooth, because they will all be written down. You will be required to write them down, write the plan down. And so you probably will be reading from your plans. So, but I tell you, these are unique traits, very separate and very unique, and you can bring them up, and they are both valuable to the community. People will love to come there instead of popping pills, right? I would love to use the bracelets to help me out, yes, or the necklace, whichever one, jewelry to help me out instead of popping those pills. Why not? It's all part of natural care, which is very exciting and different in different fields. So let's build this up. All right,
Definitely.
let's build it up. I'm sure that I will meet you sometime as we go along. I'll meet you sometime maybe in April. I'll meet with you all later. I know that, I believe so. And we will talk some more about this. Okay, we'll take it further. But in the meantime, I will definitely send some parts of very useful parts of the presentation to Kenny, to Jennifer and Kenya, so they can send them to you both. Okay.
Thank you so much. I
Thank-
appreciate it. Deja, it was a pleasure meeting you. Great idea.
Same to you.
Great.
Yes.
Yes.
you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for joining this webinar. Is it webinar? Yes, webinar today. And all the best in your business plans. All right.
Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Take care
Thank you.
too.
Good night.